Today we are going to do a traditional granny square. Traditional granny squares change color every single row. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to need a stitch marker, several colors of yarn. It doesn't matter however many rows that you want to do, then that's how many colors you're going to need. For today, I'm only going to be using 4 colors. We're going to do 4 rows today, but you can make it as big or as small as you'd like. Some scissors and, of course, a crochet hook. Today I'm using a 5mm hook, and we're going to be using all of these colors. I want to start with my yellow first. And the first thing that we're going to do, because we're doing a square, is I want to show you how to do a magic ring. Hold the yarn like this, circle it around like this, pull it over, and hold it with your pinky. So there's a definite X. We're going to take our hook, go under one, over the other. Now with the hook end, you want to grab that second one and pull it through. Turn it up, yarn over, and then pull it back through. And that is your magic ring, just like that. And we can tighten it in just a minute. To start the granny square, we're going to want to chain 3. Yarn over, go through the ring, pull up a loop. Make sure you keep track right here. It gets hard to control the yarn. So make sure you stabilize it by holding right there and pull through 2. Yarn over, through the ring and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. That's our first cluster. So this is going to count as a stitch, and then the 2 double crochets make a cluster. A granny cluster consists of 3 to 5 double crochets. And we're going to chain 2. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and pull through 2. One more, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and pull through 2. So as you can see, we've got 2 granny clusters. We're going to need a total of 4 with a chain 2 between each. 1, 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. And then we're going to pull up a loop, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Now we've got 3, we need 1 more, and you can pull this a little tighter if it makes it easier for you to hold on to. We're going to chain 2, we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and pull through 2. We're going to do that 2 more times. Now we're going to chain 2. We've got our 4 right here, and we're actually going to slip stitch into the top of this chain 3. We're going to single crochet, tie it off. Now when you tie off and you finish, make sure you leave a chain long enough to weave in. Now I'm going to show you how to work over your tails, but not everybody likes doing that, and sometimes you have to be able to weave in your ends. So you can go ahead and pull that tight. Now as you can see, we've got a square. We've got the chain 2s and 4 granny clusters. Let's move on. Do a slip knot for your next one. We're going to want to connect our second color. To attach the second color with your yarn on your hook inside the slip knot, nice and tight, you want to reach through the corner. I'm going to start just behind where we ended. Pull up a loop, stabilize it, yarn over, and pull through 2. That secures it to the work, and then we're going to chain 2. This is going to count as our first stitch. So inside this, we're going to pop 2 granny clusters inside this little space. 2 granny clusters, which is 3 double crochets, and a chain 2 into this space right here. So yarn over, hold your tail for this up because we're going to work around it. Pull through 2. So there's our first cluster. This chain is going to count as 1 stitch, 2, and 3. So we're going to chain 2, yarn over, and you can slide these back if you need some more space. We're going to do another granny cluster. There's 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through, and pull through 2. So we've got our corner again right here. Now, we're only going to be working into these spaces. In every corner space on row 2, we're going to put 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. So we're not going to chain any in between. We're just going to keep moving. So right in here, we're going to pop in a double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, and then we're going to chain 2, yarn over, 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, we've got 2. We're just making it bigger each time. We're going to do the same thing on this end. We're going to go straight in, 1, 2, 3. Now, just like we did on these 2 squares, we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do another set for our granny cluster. 1, 2, and 3. So go ahead and do this last one. It's going to be 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in this chain space, and I will meet you when you get done with that last corner. So now here we have our granny square, no granny square even, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of that chain, and then go ahead and finish off. Chain 1 and finish off. Now before I get too far, I want to point out something. If we turn this over, you'll see I've got the tail for the magic circle that I need to weave in. I've got this tail from this color, the end tail, that I didn't crochet around right here. And then I've got this, which was the beginning tail from this color. Here's the problem. I didn't make this tail long enough. It's going to be very difficult to sew this in. And because I didn't go all the way around, that is something that I'm going to have to struggle with. Not really sure how I'm going to deal with that, but we'll get to that later. It's very important to leave your tails long enough to sew in, because that happens if you don't. Okay. Moving on to the next color. So let's go ahead and make a slip knot, making sure that my tail is a bit longer than the last time. Probably overcompensating, but that's okay. Again, we want to start in a corner. So we're going to go right here in this corner, go through, pull up a loop, and pull through both. Chain 2, yarn over. Oh. Let me carry that bad boy. Yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and pull through 2. One more in this cluster, because that chain counts as a stitch. We're going to chain 2 and pop in another cluster right here in this corner. So here's where it gets a little different. We're not skipping from corner to corner like we have been. We've got this middle space right here. What we're going to do is, without chaining, we're going to pop a cluster into this space right here. Just like we have. Yarn over and pull through 2. We're going to do 3 double crochets in this space. So from here, we're going to work into the end spaces. We're going to do like we have on every single one. 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in every single corner. And then in these little spaces right here, we're going to put in 3 double crochet. So cluster, chain 2, cluster, In this, we're going to do cluster, cluster, chain 2, cluster, and all the way around. I'm going to meet you back here. So here we are. We've got this little chain space left. I'm going to go ahead and pop in that granny cluster here. Ooh. Now, instead of chaining, because we don't need to, we're just going to pop a slip stitch in that top chain right there and go ahead and finish off that color. All right, we've got one more color to do, and we're going to do it basically the exact same way. Oh. Now, I'm really glad that I chose this yarn because this yarn is thinner than the other yarns that I've used. So you're going to be able to tell a difference in pretty much everything. How it works, the thickness. Again, with our slip knot, go through, pull up a loop, and then pull through both of those loops, and then chain 2. We're going to do just like we have been. We're going to do our granny cluster, chain 2, and a granny cluster right here in this edge. All right, so yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and pull through 2. There's our first cluster. We're going to chain 2 and do another cluster, which is 3 double crochet. All right, as you can see, we've got our first corner started. Now, very much like this row, every one of these squares, we're going to pop in a granny cluster. Except for the edges are going to get 2 granny clusters with a chain 2 in between. So let's go ahead and work through this first side together. So in between the corners and these little spaces, we do not put any chains. We just move right along. 1, 2, 3. And same thing right here. Move right along. 1, 2, 3. And again here, we're going to move right along. No chain spaces yet. Chain spaces are only for the corners. 1, 2, 3. Now we chain 2. That's going to provide our corner. And we're going to do one more granny cluster set right here. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we've got our first side done. We're going to go ahead and do the rest of these. We're going to pop in a granny cluster in each of these holes. Cluster. Inside these corners, we're going to do like we have on every row. We're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and I will meet you back here. So here we are at the end. I've got one more granny cluster to do. There's 1, 2, and 3. So just like the rows before, there's no need to chain. We're just going to go into that very top chain right here and do a slip stitch, bring them together, and we're going to chain and finish off. And there is your traditional granny square.